So for the moment, since this will be recorded, even if nobody is here, do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Jessica. I'm InterNACHI's marketing director.
I'm Kate Tarasenko. I'm InterNACHI's editor-in-chief.
I'm Chris Kroyak. I work on logos in the marketing department for InterNACHI.
I'm Ben Gromyko, the COO of InterNACHI.
I'm Tim Eaton, the director of software development. So we're going to be looking for questions on the InterNACHI forum in the post your questions on the forum and we'll take a look at them. To start with, since we haven't had anybody show up yet, maybe CK, do you want to post a couple of... Oh wait, here we go. Chris started a question. I'll start with a question. What are the top suggestions that you find yourself making when you talk to inspectors about their websites? For me, when I talk to people about making websites, I talk to them primarily about making sure contact information is primary and that it can be easily viewed on a website device. I mean, that's just the super basic recommendation I give to everybody. CK, this is probably something that you talk to more people about.
Well, outside of making sure that you just have one, which is really important, there's a lot of inspectors who don't. Yeah. Paying a little bit of attention on just how to be visible through web or search engines. So you can have something, but if you get buried, if someone like me who doesn't know a home inspector in my area, I'm going to look online. So at least making sure you know or talk to someone who does know about search engine optimization is really important. And also just making sure that they have a way to easily either just contact you to schedule something or have a feature to schedule something on your website is really important too. Mm-hmm. Don't give them a reason to leave. Don't bore them. Make sure that there's something there that they can actually like move forward with hiring you as an inspector.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what Kate has to say because Kate has been fielding so many website reviews through her really popular forum post. What do you all the time?
Right. I think for the homepage, less is more. You want to give some basic information right where the prospect or prospective client will see immediately what they need to see, which is your logo, your contact information, and the fact that you provide home inspections, if that's not evident in the logo, and your service area, if that's also not evident in the logo. Less is more. Don't kitchen sink up your homepage because you're going to make it more difficult for people to find the information they want immediately. And have lots of links, lots of space, lots of visuals. Go easy on the text. This is me saying it. I'm the word person, but I believe in that. And also, especially now and for the foreseeable future, I think it's really important to have the COVID-19 notice right on your homepage without scrolling so that people understand that A, you're open for business, and B, you're taking all necessary precautions to make sure everybody in the transaction stays safe. And that could be for a time to come, not just right now.
Yeah, I think it is good to realize that your website is not just a static page that never changes. Like when there are like extraordinary times, you should be adding notices about what you're doing for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ben has actually done some webinars that go over building your own website through Weebly. Ben, do you have any advice for people if they're going that route?
Yeah, what I tell people, a couple things I tell people to keep in mind, that your website really has one purpose, one brutal purpose, is to convince the site visitor to call you and schedule an inspection. Has nothing to do with about us. Don't have an about us page. I don't care. And it doesn't have anything to do with what is a home inspection. I mean, that kind of conversation was taking place maybe 20 years ago. Everybody knows what a home inspection is. So just like CK said, it should have some kind of online scheduling. And that should be the single purpose of your website, to get people to call you and schedule a job. And Kate's right. Visuals is really good. Not a whole lot of text. Your homepage should have maybe less than a dozen words on it. It should be visual.
They say something like the average viewer on a web page is about 7 seconds before they either do something with it or they get bored and go somewhere else, because there's so many options. I could just type in home inspections really quick and find another person like that. So if you're boring someone, or if it's convoluted and hard to navigate and figure out how do I even like reach this person, then you're just making your life that much more difficult. So, and simplicity, again, I with everything that we'll talk about with marketing and websites and everything, that's usually a good rule of thumb. Don't overdo anything.
This is right. You got to be real quick. Got to be real quick with that homepage. Nick, my brother, used to be a boxer. This is not a long, drawn-out boxing match. You have to punch somebody right in the face. Why you're the best inspector and how to call you. That's it.
Yeah.
So Ben, when you talk about that, what do you think about subpages? Like I see a lot of inspector websites where they like really describe what they're doing or what their qualifications are. Like sometimes what I would think would be too long, but do you think that like longer text is appropriate on a subpage link?
Yeah, sure. As long as it's designed to support the main purpose of the website, which is to provide enough information that the site visitor is looking for in order to be convinced that you're the best inspector to hire. As long as these are all focused towards that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking myself, and I'm just kind of like brainstorming here on the fly right now. But is more text appropriate for that, or is more showing of your qualifications or testimonials appropriate for that?
Well, maybe Kate could talk about that, but I think no one reads anymore, and maybe this is just a phase that we're in as human beings. We just love to watch video and look at pictures. But I don't know, the editor-in-chief may have a different argument about that.
Well, I think the About Me page, people kind of misinterpret what that should be. And Ben is right, 1000%, where everything should be in support of getting the job, of getting hired. I don't want to read about your family. I don't want to read about how you want to serve the public. I don't care about any of that. That's just noise. But your qualifications, your training, all that with some specificity is a good idea, because that could push you over, a competitor. But logos, certifications, things like that are really important when it comes to About Me. That's what I want to know. Licenses, things like that are key.
Yeah, and if you're working on your website or your marketing, you can actually download all of your certification logos from your dashboard. And then rather than listing out that you do mold testing and all of your ancillary services, you can actually add the certification logos for those so that they're visible at a glance.
I think you guys talked, I think Ben, you and Chris talked a little bit about the importance of having some good photography on your site, because I think that you can replace blocks of with just a really nice photo of maybe you inspecting, which kind of showcases your experience or like the kind of morals you uphold and stuff like that. So like a nice photo of you working, or just one of you or whatever, I think can accomplish what would have to be a lot of wordage on the website. So visuals are usually more important than the text, a text heavy page.
So what would you recommend, CK, as the kind of visuals that people should use as large images?
Well, I think if you go to a lot of websites, I think that most of them these days kind of use the format of it, whether it's a background image, like a big header. So I think that something not
Like
using
what
like a
Cherie
stock
said.
image of like a giant mansion, I don't think that that's a very good approach. I think maybe something more personable.
Like a mobile home, or
just something relatable to you. Something, I mean, all of it is your brand, right? So your logo should be up there on top, and then everything else that's on your page should kind of reflect like how you want to be represented visually to strangers on the internet. So I think that most of us usually advocate for a more personable approach, and not like, just an image of a home. Like Kate said, it should be apparent right off the bat that you do home inspections, but I don't think that means that you need to, have homes everywhere on your website.
Yeah, one photo that I see being used a lot that I think works really well, and it's nice because it works well in a horizontal format. So it's great for that initial like website header, is a nice photo of you in front of your work vehicle where you have an embroidered shirt on where it shows your business logo, and maybe you have like your ladder leaning up next to the truck, and it just is kind of like you getting ready for the job. So when inspectors have something like that on their marketing or their site, it gives clients the ability to kind of see who's going to be coming up to their front door, see that you have a really nice newer vehicle, you look clean, professional, and it's just more comfortable for them to invite you into their home.
Yeah. Good. Great point. Great point.
That's a really good point, because the whole industry is based around allowing people into your private space. And so the more trust you can show through your website and marketing materials, the more comfortable they'll be with that. I am not seeing. Okay. I have something from Mark Goldenberg about putting like NAP at the top of the homepage.
Yep.
And I think he is talking about just making sure it is absolutely essential that people know how to contact you. And I've seen this in inspector websites myself, where I see them and I don't even know what town they're from, and don't see a phone number. So I would say that's some of the basics of having a decent company website.
I think one thing I see on some templates is, and it's inexplicable to me, where the phone number will be in really small font in the upper left-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. Don't make your prospects hunt for the most basic information they need, which is your contact information. You might need to ignore some of the fields in the template that you choose to build your website on, because it doesn't serve you. And the template doesn't know what you need, what's best for you. So feel free to kind of, disregard certain things in order to put the message out there that you need to give to your prospects. So maybe, Ben, I have some questions about that, since you've helped a lot of people put their websites together or given them some guidance. What kind of issues have you run into with the constraining templates?
Yeah, so most templates have all this design in mind, this user-friendly design features in mind. So when you go to a site that has templates to build your own website, even if you have an existing one, you can redesign it. Just like InterNACHI, marketing team redesigns existing logos, you can redesign your existing website. and have in mind, you know, when you get in your car and you want to turn something on, like the radio or the heat, right? It's always to the right and at the top, right? You always turn something over to the right and at the top. And that's where everything goes. When you want to turn something on, it's push it to the right and reach to the top. That's where your website call to actions should be. Just yesterday, I reviewed a website, and guess where the phone number was? At the bottom left, absolute opposite direction, right? So you want at the top right, call to action, your name, like Chris, Tim said, your name, maybe serving Colorado, if I was a home inspector in Colorado, serving your area, and phone number, and call me now. InterNACHI has call me now buttons. You can put a call me now up there, or you can have an online scheduler. There are free online schedules, like schedulista.com is a free one. Just embed it in your website, and you can have your website scheduling home inspections while you're sleeping or while you're doing with automatic texting and everything. So that's another feature that I recommend, that there's a call to action at the top right, and it schedules online. Because guess what? We're moving away, we don't read anymore, and we don't call each other anymore. So careful with about call me now or call this number. People don't want to talk to anybody anymore, especially new generations. And this new generations, millennials and new home buyers, young home buyers, we'd rather text for a job to be scheduled. So have online scheduling. If you're not online scheduling, you're going to be out of those opportunities within a few years. Nobody wants to talk to each other. Nobody actually wants to pick up the phone. It's rare. It's like writing a letter to get a job, right? So what you want is online scheduling or texting or something available. And InterNACHI provides those things, those online scheduling and texting and call me now buttons.
Yes. And I would say, just for any members that don't know what the question NAP is, that's name, address, phone number. And like to just expand upon what Ben's saying, the call to action is super important to have each of those things, but having them all on your front page also helps with your search engine results, especially with your Google listing.
Yeah, and I think something that gets overlooked is if you own a business, you can edit your like Google business information. So you type in the area that you serve. So when people search for home inspector in Boulder, Colorado, if you get up, you know, if you're near the top, it'll show your phone number and your address and stuff like that. So you're already ahead of the curve if you make sure that that stuff is updated with your current stuff. You can do hours, you know, however long you're willing to answer the phone for. And that stuff shows up right when you type in something more generic in Google. And then once they get there, they'll already know, like, okay, they're serving this area. And then you can find out any more details that you want. But a lot of companies, they don't update that Google information. So it could help you out for sure.
And all this stuff about building a website and boosting a website with advanced features and modern features, all this is actually taught in a recent class that we developed called the Masterclass for Home Inspectors. So we talk about websites a lot in the masterclass if you're interested. And that's at nachi.org/masterclass, nachi.org/masterclass.
Well, Ben, for a moment, could you explain what the masterclass is?
Yeah, so we took all the resources and everything that I know, and I put it in a course. And we had the video team edit. There's over 200 short, sweet videos. So you can go through the videos. There's a video playlist. There's a podcast. You can take the course and get a certificate. But I would use this masterclass to assess where you are. So you could be completely new or experienced veteran inspector. Assess where you are, set some goals, like retirement or going multi-inspector or being very profitable as a sole proprietor. You still want to incorporate. And then we help you make a plan to reach those goals. That's the purpose of the masterclass. It has everything you need to build a successful home inspection business. So take a look at that. But inside you got to have a website. Inside the class, we talk about websites a lot, and I coach you through on how to build a website and make your website better.
So our next question is from Eddie, who is asking, what would be a reasonable cost for building a website? And I would say, from my perspective, and maybe CK, you can weigh in on this too, but I would say, if you're hiring somebody to do it, probably $1,000 to $2,000 is what I used to charge when I was a freelancer. You may be able to find less than that, and there are a number of services like Weebly, Wix, and Squarespace that will charge you for storage, but make it easy to do yourself. If you're not able to do that, then yeah, I would say $1,000 to $2,000 for just a super basic site. CK, do you agree with that, or?
Yeah, that's spot on. It always depends on if it's more complex, a lot of pages and stuff. But typically, a home inspection site is there shouldn't be too much to it. So yeah, around there. But again, it always varies location and the kind of site and stuff like that.
I agree. It's going to cost $1,000 to $2,000, but my recommendation, is always like, why would you give up that control of the most important aspect of your business marketing strategy? To have somebody else, my cousin or some third-party stranger, have the most important scheduling feature of my business, the online scheduling, and most important marketing aspect of my business, online presence. F that. So I teach how to do it for free. You can have a template built within a few hours that will look really good with modern features. And then if you invest a few more hours, you can get online scheduling. So what you have to think about, the real cost is your time, right? So if you don't want to spend any time on doing this, then you have to pull out your wallet and spend about $1,000 to $2,000. The real cost is about, I would say, 6 to 8 hours of your time. And if you haven't scheduled a job today, well, perfect. You have the entire day. And at the end of the day, if you follow my masterclass, you'll have a beautiful website. And in business, you want to invest initially in something, a system that will work for you, so that you have systems in place. Like an example would be InterNACHI's free online inspection agreement. That's a system in place that doesn't cost you anything, that does so much work for you, for your business, that it's worth it. It's worth the investment of learning about the online agreement system. Same thing with the website. If you invest your time, this system that you have in place will work for you for the rest of your inspection business. And the main thing will be the scheduling. It'll make you money. So your real cost actually isn't the $1,000 to $2,000. It's deciding whether you want to invest your personal time in building a system that works for you, or pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah, and I would say, like, the way both Ben and Kate have talked about it, there's not a lot of information you have to put on the website, and it's not there to win an award, so it doesn't need to be like something that takes forever to put together and has custom photography or whatever. As long as it looks like decently clean and has your contact information, those are the most important things. And also like qualifications, so people can I mean, the main thing, the first thing is to find it through Google, and the second thing is to have your contacts.
Yeah,
I think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if InterNACHI has designed your logo and your marketing materials, then you can, you have a beautiful logo to put up in that upper left corner of your website. And then you also already have the color scheme figured out. So you just pull all those color codes into the template, and then a huge chunk of what you're paying a designer to do is already taken care of. I would say that's one of the biggest mistakes I see on like do-it-yourself sites, is just they don't have an understanding of what color schemes are going to work well. So InterNACHI's marketing department's already taken care of that for you if you've gotten custom marketing from us.
Good point.
It goes a long way. Oh, Kate, you were going to go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, just I think your point is more directly related to Jesse. So you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna reinforce that, because pretty much like we've already gone over, it's a really quick reaction if you're going to move forward or if you're going to go to a different website. So it's kind of just a feeling that people have. So if you have a nice, clean, cohesive, like branded website, even if you did it through a template or whatever, if you have that other marketing, it really helps the consumer feel a little bit more trustworthy, because it shows that you've taken that aspect of your business more seriously. So if you have a really old logo or something that was clip art or something that was obviously ripped from the internet, it's all pixelated or something like that, I promise you people are going to leave. I would. So it's really important to have a strong brand. So
yeah, it's an indicator of your quality. Like those are like subtle or like intuitive indicators of the quality of the business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. My point is save the text for deeper links. Like I'm a consumer who likes to have information and details, maybe to an annoying degree for some people. But for example, I'd want to know what goes into the home inspection. What are they going to look at? What can I expect? And that information should go, maybe a little bit of it on your homepage, but the majority of that description should go at a deeper link. Same thing with ancillary inspections, such as mold testing, radon testing, all that. Some people don't care. Some people want to know, but don't put it on your homepage. Provide those links that are very easily, clearly labeled and easy to find.
Jesse, a question for you. Would you recommend using animated GIF backgrounds for every page on the site?
Absolutely not. Yeah, stay away from that. If you want something that's a little bit more interactive, definitely embed some videos, especially if it's educational or if it gives them more information about your business. And InterNACHI does have some videos available for you. If you visit inspectoroutlet.com or our YouTube channel, then you'll find some different videos that you can use on their site.
Sweet. Another thing I would say, because I hear this from a lot of different people that talk about websites in InterNACHI, I no longer really think that you need to have everything on the top of the page. Like contact information, certainly, but the way most people like access websites right now, they do scroll down, and that didn't used to be true. So a lot of people have heard that advice of like have everything just in the top portion of it. And CK, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I believe that like most people now are trained to scroll, especially with accessing websites with their phone.
Yeah. So that's a huge part of it. Usually, if you're able to make a website, it also has to work on a mobile. And so obviously, just given the dimensions of your phone versus a wide screen, it's the opposite. So things tend to be columnized more. And so that's just how we interact with websites now. But it kind of goes back to the simplicity of like, you'll probably notice if you go on sites, there's huge images and huge text. Like there's pretty much one little bit of information with a call to action on most sites. And I think that, that's just kind of how they're approaching the viewer. They're like, okay, if you like squinted your eyes, where did they go? And that there's always an objective, and you should have an objective. Is what Ben said. You should have someone contact you to schedule an inspection. So make sure that that's there. Just a big button, big schedule now button. Always have one in the top too. But yeah, you don't need don't cram stuff. I'm telling you, people get overwhelmed. There's a reason why things are more large and more simplistic now.
Cool. I see somebody typing on the forum. Ben, what do you think is a good like way of providing an objective? Like if we talk about a call to action, like obviously every inspector doesn't want the same one, because what differences or what makes a difference between your competition if you're having like a large text call to action?
So I guess that you're asking me what could be the difference between my website and my competitor's website?
Yeah.
So there's a little branding exercise that Jessica has and CK offers members who are interested in the free consultation services that the member marketing team provides to get the juices flowing and your thoughts being inspired about. And the team helps members figure out the answer to the question, why should I hire you? And that answer needs to be different from all of your competition, because people want to hire, like Kate said earlier, something different, something special, and give it to me right on the homepage so that then I can take that call to action and schedule a job. So what you want to do is you want to contact the InterNACHI member marketing team. They have a little checklist if you're going to ask for a logo to be designed or redesigned or something. And this exercise helps you figure out those answers to the question, why should I hire you instead of the other person? And then it's kind of like your elevator speech. You give like maybe 3 points, something that 3 things that make you different from all the rest, and you put it on that homepage. And those 3 points should trigger that call to action. We keep saying the call to action, that the thing that makes this website visitor schedule a job with you. So think of those 3 things that are completely different, because if we're all saying the same thing, let's say I'm a thorough home inspector. I take pictures during my video, during my inspection. I provide the report within 24 hours. I'm very neat and professional. I'm certified. Those are very common things that all home inspectors say. So if we're all saying the same thing on our websites, then the only distinguishing characteristic is going to be price, and people tend to choose the lowest price. So that's no good. What you want on your homepage to distinguish you from all the rest is something different, something special. Like when I visit a restaurant website, I don't go to a restaurant until I visit their website and I look at the burger. I can get a burger anywhere. So the restaurant has to convince me that their burger is the best burger in the world. Even
you made me really hungry.
$15, $20 burger. Tell me what is on top of it, right? And then I'll take that call to action and I'll get that burger. Same thing with home inspections. Your home inspection is the burger. Your toppings are the ancillary inspections, right? And your price can be really high if you've got the best burger in the world that no one else serves, right? So that's your homepage. On your homepage, you want the best, delicious looking burger that no one else serves. And you can then raise your prices because you're special. But if you have the same burger that everybody else has, right? Who cares? You better drop your prices then, you know, and then you're not making any money. So it's so much fun trying to figure all this stuff out and put it all in a really nice website that's visually appealing. It has all these features and things like that. That's why successful home inspectors have really fantastic, successful websites, right? So there's several keys you got to know. And that's what this whole conversation is about. There's a few things that you ought to have on your website. And if you don't have a website, man, you are way behind, right? I don't even get it unless I watch the preview of it. Your website's like a preview to the movie. Your website's the preview to your inspection service. So you got to get online, and then I would call up InterNACHI marketing team and try to figure out what makes you special than all the rest.
That was a bunch of good metaphors, and I like the preview one especially. CK, how important do you think it is to make sure or like to fine tune your website for a cell phone?
How easy? Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, how important is it, would you say, to make sure your website works on a cell phone?
Increasingly more by the day. I'm still a little more, I like doing things on my computer versus sitting there on my phone. But as time goes by, more people are not doing that. More people are going to be on tablets or, just using their phone to book. I think it's probably the most future-proof thing you can do. You want to make sure that you're not missing anyone. I think eventually they'll all want to just schedule their home inspections by pressing a couple buttons on your site. So I think it's really important. And if you're trying to tackle it on your own, make sure that it works for mobile, because if there's a lot of times where you can have a website that's great on a computer screen or a laptop, but as soon as you open it up on a phone, it's messed up. It's like a puzzle that got completely destroyed, and no one's going to stick around for that. So just it sounds obvious, but just make sure everything is at least relatively professional looking. Cover all your bases, have a nice looking logo, a professional looking logo, professional looking site that works on mobile and computers. And if you're passing out business cards, make sure that those are professional too. Don't get something that's this flimsy, just because it's a little bit cheaper. I mean, I get passed cards all the time at our events and stuff, and I like there's so few that actually stand out. And I say this a lot. I really think that the inspection industry is an easy one to set yourself apart in just from your marketing. A lot of people do the same old thing, and a lot of people have really outdated stuff. So just by putting a little bit more attention and care towards it, I think will put you in a really good spot to at least get ahead of the curve.
Can I ask Jesse a question?
Yeah, but I want to touch on the mobile thing really quickly.
Oh, okay.
So because most people are viewing websites through their phones now, it's, I want to say like 50 or 60%. When you're building a template-based site through these things like Weebly or Wix or Squarespace, there's actually a preview for mobile devices. So it's really, really easy to just click on that and make some adjustments, because you might have a beautiful site on the desktop and then you click on the mobile preview and maybe you realize that some of your text needs to be sized down one size in order to look perfect on mobile. So it's typically really easy fixes, and it's worth the time just to check out that preview for a second.
Yeah, and Zillow puts out a report about home buyers and home sellers, and you can see from their data, everybody's online with a mobile device, looking for their agent, looking for a home, and and your website, you should get the URL and text it to a friend, to their phone, and then just have them kind of do a critique of it, and let them tell you, not your eyes, because you're kind of already looking at your website. Let somebody else look at your website on a mobile device and see what they say. And then tell them, hey, let's just do a schedule. See if you can schedule an inspection with me, right?
Tell your friends to do it while they're at the DMV.
Right, have your friends and family test drive it for you, find the glitches for you, let them be your beta testers before you set it free into the wild. I have a question for CK and Jesse that I want them to talk about: the importance of branding across all of your marketing, your website, your flimsy little business cards, your brochures, just the unified message. Can you talk about why that's important? A unified look, I guess, is what I mean.
Yeah, so I'm amazed how many people I work with that maybe we redesigned their logo 6 months ago or a year ago. And sometimes when we're working on marketing, we'll visit the website as well as pulling information. We have a questionnaire that Ben was referring to earlier, but we still visit the site to get an idea of what they've been using currently for marketing in their website. And I'm amazed how many people, months after we've redesigned their logo, they still have the old branding up on their site, or will redesign their logo and maybe they just get a brochure because they still have 500 business cards to hand out. But once you've rebranded, throw away your old business cards, get new professional cards. You don't want to have two different logos that you're handing out. You don't want to have an outdated logo on your vehicle. But CK, if you kind of want to go over that a little bit, obviously you're kind of like one of our logo gurus, so you deal with branding every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a logo is a really good way to kind of encompass a lot of what we're discussing today, where it's the simplest thing that and should be the forefront of everything that you have. It should be on your shirt and your truck and your business cards, your website. It's pretty much the first thing that people are going to see and identify as your business. And so if it's done right, it's able to communicate a lot without saying much. It should be a simple iconic thing that's essentially like your name tag. And so if what you're putting out there is that visible to everybody and it's really not up to snuff, I think that you're putting yourself in a tough spot to keep up with other people who are doing that, because it's you're not always there to shake someone's hand and give them a bit. Like you're the product. You're, like Tim said, you're trusted to go into someone's house. And so how can you have someone trust you to do that if you're not there to convince them to? So your logo and all this other stuff has to be doing that for you when you're not around to do it. And that's how most people are going to first see you and how they potentially will remember you and pass you along to their friend who needs an inspection. So it's I'm not just saying it because it's what I do all day, but it's probably the most important aspect of your marketing. Outside of you need a website for sure. That's the whole reason we're talking about this. But make sure you put some attention towards your logo, because that spills over into all your other branding.
Yeah, and if you have a logo, we have a lot of inspectors who they'll order marketing and they don't want to make any changes to their branding, which maybe they designed themselves a couple years ago, or maybe they had it designed professionally even 10 years ago. And at the time it was great and now it's outdated. Don't be afraid to update things. So one of the things that we do all the time for inspectors is we'll take an existing brand that's maybe a little bit outdated or just not designed as well as it should be, and we'll update it and make it really beautiful and current. So don't be afraid to update everything.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what would need an update? Like, is there a visual impression that you get that you think it's a little stale?
Yeah, so definitely anything that was pulled from the internet is not legal,
Right.
most likely to be used for your logo. And if you're questioning that, feel free to email me or CK and we can give you a little bit of advice on whether it needs to be redesigned. But I would say roof lines over text, it could be done really well. The majority look like they were maybe built. There's some online logo generator services, and we've seen the same logo with so many different names underneath that roof line or a different color. So if it wasn't professionally designed specifically for your business, then it's time to update. It doesn't have to be a completely new brand, just kind of redesigned to be more current and modern.
Yeah, and it's I always suggest that if you can get a little outside the box with it, if everyone's doing the roofline thing, we deal with this all the time. You're simply just in a sea of people who are doing the same thing. So when Ben's talking about really quickly, why should someone hire you over the next person? If your logo just simply isn't that by nature, you're already ahead of the curve. Real quick, a couple things that I think is important. Your logo doesn't need to show what you do. Someone shouldn't think that you do something else, but it doesn't need to be a house related image. That's like a daily conversation that I have with people. It's okay if you do that, but you're then dealing with realtors, you're dealing with potentially some construction companies and stuff like that. So simply doing something different is a good way to do what Ben, which is the most important goal of getting someone to hire you is why. So again, it's the quickest and most effective way to set yourself apart. It just is.
And CK, how much do you charge for those logos?
Oh yeah, so we don't charge anything for the design of it. It's just the printing and shipping of it. So If you hired me outside to do it, it costs you a decent amount. So it's a pretty good, if you're starting out, that's great. Or if you're nearing the end of, you're running out of business cards to pass out, you're going to spend money on business cards anyways. That's something that we could at least exercise for you and see if there's a solution that we can come up with to kind of improve your branding as a whole. It's a really good resource.
Awesome. So we're getting close to the end here of an hour. One final thing I had, Kate, are you still doing reviews of websites?
No, I'm not. That became kind of a full-time job in and of itself. So, but Ben is helping with that aspect, and he and Alicia Grumiko provide a service. Maybe Ben can talk about that some more.
Yeah, so if you're looking for extra information on your website, on marketing, on business, on legal advice, on advanced strategies, like how do I go from 1 to 5 inspectors? Again, it's all online through InterNACHI training. We have webinars and also the recent masterclass. We teach about that as well.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything else to say?
I would say just if anybody is watching and has questions about their individual website or business, you can post on the forum thread where you got this link, and we can answer a couple of questions on there. And you can also email any of us. It's our names at internachi.org or marketing@internachi.org.
Cool. And just quick, because people might not have come from the beginning, just say your names once. I'm Tim.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Chris or CK.
Oh, Kate?
Oh, I'm Kate.
Oh, I think we talked at the same time. Sorry.
Sorry.
Wait, we don't know who the guy in front of the House of Horrors is.
Yes, I'm here. I'm stuck here.
Len lives in the House of Horrors.
All right. Well, this was fun, and we'll be posting. I believe we can post a recording of this, and I'll make a new forum thread for that.
Yeah, I know. Real quick, I know this was mainly geared around websites, but if you do, I really enjoy talking with logos and branding with inspectors. So you can always drop me an email, and I'll be brutally honest with you about what you have. But it's good to brainstorm ideas, and I enjoy doing it. So don't hesitate if you're a little unsure, if you're just getting started. Happy to help.
Awesome. All right. Well, happy inspecting. We will see you guys around.
All right, bye, everyone.